do my induction to the Global Network of Sex Work Projects in Bangkok, where I worked with the Asia Pacific Network of Sex Workers. It was in this space and during this time of my life that I was developed as a young activist in this movement that has now become one of the key cornerstones of my whole life. Tracy reminded me earlier what Andrew used to tell me in my training in advocacy and in mobilising my community of sex workers. And this was that people want to know why they are treated like shit. Andrew was himself a young activist, and I've had the great opportunity to meet here in Melbourne those who he saw as his own mentors, and those who supported and nourished him into the great leader that he became himself. I've often wondered if Andrew knew the impact that he had on my life and on other young activists, many in this room, like me, who used to look up to Andrew, and we watched him in his advocacy, wondering if we could ever create the shivers down people's spines that he did when he spoke, if we could ever retain as much knowledge in our minds as he did, and to use this knowledge to better the lives of ourselves, to better the lives of sex workers who continue in this world to face raid and rescue operations, who face family abandonment and isolation, denial of access to ART, and other vile violations to our human rights as sex workers. In my time working with Andrew, I never once heard him refer to himself as a mentor, nor as a leader. But what I saw was him constantly creating the space for others to speak for ourselves. But to do this with the capacity that he built within us. He gave young activists the time to make our mistakes and supported us in overcoming our nerves and our insecurities. And he instilled in each young activist that he mentored a sense of conviction in what we were advocating for, and that we are not alone, but part of a sex worker movement to overturn this world. We used to refer to Andrew's workshops as world domination workshops. He did not stick to the confines of HIV, nor sex work, stigma, or discrimination. But he placed our position as sex workers in a global context of the rich and the poor, the privileged and the unprivileged, and those who do get left behind. He taught us why we related to one another as sex workers around the world, despite our greatly varied levels of privilege. Because we as sex workers, we go against the grain of society, and we deal with the repercussions through isolation from health services, communities, religions, families, and friends. And we are the ones as sex workers left to nurture each other and others that have been left behind. Andrew taught us to use this community strength and spirit not only to fight for our own rights, but to fight the system in our conquest to understand why we are treated like shit. When Andrew left this world, he left a following of young activists behind him that will forever miss his supportive shadow as we carry out his mission. We are Andrew's footprints, and we are Andrew's legacy. And we will never stray from our mission to end the violations to our human rights, because this would be to stray from our leader, our mentor, and our friend. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to say these words about Andrew, and I just want to end on a poem for one of the most beautiful people that I will ever know. The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These people have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding for life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep, deep love and concern. Beautiful people like Andrew do not just happen. Thank you.
I love these faces. Oh God, this girl was shaking, shaking, and shaking. And she shook my answer.